What time did you wake up this morning?
Let me tell you what time I woke up. 4 a.m. Not because I had to, because while you were sleeping, I was taking your spot. And here's what nobody tells you about that. The shock doesn't come from one day. It comes from 1,000 days they never saw. Same as yesterday, same as tomorrow, same as every single day for the last 20 years. 4 a.m. Not 5, not 6, not whenever I feel like it. 4 a.m. While the world sleeps, I work. While they hit snooze, while they roll over and steal another 20 minutes of comfort, I'm already in the gym. I'm already sweating. I'm already getting better. That's the difference between champions and everyone else. That's the line. You're on one side or the other. There's no middle ground here. You're here because you want something. You want separation. You want to shock people. You want them to wake up one day and wonder, where did he come from? When did he get that good? But you're not willing to do what it takes. Not yet. Because if you were, you'd already know what time to wake up tomorrow. You'd already have your alarm set. This isn't about morning routines. This isn't about productivity hacks or becoming a morning person or reading some book about habits. This is about competitive advantage, pure and simple. This is about creating a gap so wide between you and your competition that by the time they realize you're winning, it's already over. Binary choice, right here, right now. Sleep or work, average or champion, comfortable or unstoppable. There's no middle ground, never has been. I'm going to tell you the one thing that separates 4 a.m. people from everyone else. The thing nobody talks about. But first, you need to understand the mathematics of what we're discussing. Because this isn't about talent. This isn't about genetics or gifts or being special. This is math, pure math. 3 hours per day. That's the advantage we're talking about. While they sleep from 4 to 7 a.m., while they're dreaming, while they're comfortable, while they're warm in their beds, you work. 3 hours times 365 days equals 1,095 hours per year. Think about that for a second. 1 year of doing this, you're already 1,095 hours ahead of your competition. That's 45 full days of work they never did. 5 years? 5,475 hours of separation. That's 228 days. That's 7.5 months of advantage they can never get back. 10 years? 10,950 hours. 20 years? 21,900 hours. That's 912 days. That's 2.5 years of work they never put in. You think the gap between you and success is talent? You think it's luck? Connections? It's 21,900 hours. That's not talent, that's mathematics. That's showing up every single morning at 4 a.m. for 20 years while everyone else chose the snooze button, while they chose comfort over championship. Now let me guess what you're thinking right now. I can hear it already. Kobe, I'm not a morning person. I need 8 hours of sleep. I have a family. I have kids. I have a demanding job. My body needs rest. I'm different. My situation is unique. I work hard already. I'm doing my best. Stop. Just stop. Those are reasons you stay where you are. Those are excuses champions don't make. Those are the words of people who want the results but won't pay the price. I've heard them all. Heard them from teammates, heard them from opponents, heard them from people who wanted what I had but weren't willing to do what I did. And you know what happened to all of them? They stayed exactly where they were while I kept getting better. Every single morning, 4 a.m., while they slept. If you don't change this, if you keep doing what you're doing, you stay average. That's the stakes. That's what we're really talking about here. Not motivation, not inspiration. Consequences. Tomorrow morning at 4 a.m., you're either waking up or you're not. And that choice determines everything that comes after. Let's break this down even further. 3 hours before the world wakes up. 7 days per week, not Monday through Friday, 7 days. No weekends off. No, I'll start Monday. No, I deserve a break. 52 weeks per year. No off season. No summer vacation. No, I'll get back to it after the holidays. You compound this over a career, over 20 years, 21,900 hours of separation between you and them. That's not a slight edge. That's not a small advantage. That's a different universe. You think the gap is talent? You think it's genetics, natural ability? It's 21,900 hours. It's showing up every single day at 4 a.m. while they chose sleep, while they chose comfort, while they chose easy. Here's what people don't understand about those hours. They're not just numbers on a page. They're real work, real sweat, real improvement happening while the world sleeps. Every single morning you're getting better and they're not. That gap, it compounds. Now let me tell you about Beijing. 2008, Team USA, 4 a.m., alone, empty gym. Training camp hadn't even officially started yet, but I was there, in the gym, in a foreign country, in a different time zone, and I still found the gym at 4 a.m. First thing I did, showed up to practice earlier than LeBron, earlier than Carmelo, earlier than D. Wade. These are the best players in the world. All of them could have slept in. All of them earned the right to rest. I showed up first anyway. Not to show off, not to make a statement, to set the standard. If I'm not willing to outwork the best in the world, how can I expect to beat the world? If I can't do it when nobody's watching, how can I do it when everyone is? That's what 4 a.m. teaches you. Discipline when no one's checking. Excellence when no one's grading. Work when no one's applauding. That's where champions separate from everyone else. By the time they check Instagram in the morning, I've already gotten better. By the time they're drinking their first coffee and scrolling through their phone, I'm done with my first workout. By the time the world is waking up, I've already won the day. That's the routine. Let me break down exactly what this looks like. 4 a.m., alarm goes off. No snooze. Feet hit the floor within 10 seconds. 4:15 a.m., I'm in the gym. Not getting ready to go to the gym. Not thinking about going to the gym. In the gym. 4:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. First workout complete. 2 hours of work while the world sleeps. 7 a.m., the world's waking up, checking their phones, hitting snooze one more time. And you're already done. Hold on, because what I'm about to share about the Olympics changed everything for me. But we'll get to that in a few minutes. Here's what happens when you do this consistently. Day 1, you have a slight edge, barely noticeable. They don't see it, you barely feel it, but it's there. Day 30, you feel different. Your body's adapting, your mind's sharper. You're starting to see the separation. Day 365, 1 full year. The results are showing. People are starting to notice. They're asking, what are you doing differently? And you just smile because they weren't there at 4 a.m. Day 1,825, 5 years of this. You're in a different league, completely different universe than where you started. They're still making excuses about sleep. You're untouchable. The one thing that separates 4 a.m. people from everyone else, you want to know what it is? Consistency. They show up when they don't feel like it. They show up when it's cold, when it's dark, when every part of their body is telling them to stay in bed. They show up anyway. Because here's the truth nobody wants to hear. Every day you sleep in is a day someone else gets your spot. Every morning you hit snooze, someone else is working. While you sleep, they work. And that gap becomes permanent. Now back to Beijing. Team USA, 2008. The best players in the world assembled in one place. LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul. Every single one of them a champion. Every single one of them could coast on talent alone. Every one of them earned the right to rest. And I still showed up first. Still left last. That's the standard. You don't get to a level where the work stops. You don't reach a point where you've earned the right to sleep in. The higher you go, the harder you work. Because at the top, everyone's talented, everyone's skilled. The separation comes from who's willing to do the work where nobody's forcing them to. That's what people don't understand about greatness. They think once you make it, you can relax. Once you win one championship, you can ease up. That's exactly when you lose it. That's exactly when someone hungrier takes your spot. Stop right now. Be honest with yourself. What's your current routine? When do you wake up? Not what you tell people, not what you wish it was. What time did your feet actually hit the floor this morning? Let me guess. You work hard all week. Monday through Friday, you're grinding. You're putting in the hours at work. You're tired. You're stressed. You tell yourself you're doing everything you can. Then Saturday comes, and you sleep till 9, maybe 10. I earned it, you say. I deserve rest. That's where you lost. Right there. That Saturday morning when you chose comfort over championship. Championships aren't won Monday through Friday. They're won on weekends when nobody's watching. They're won on holidays when everyone else is off. They're won in those hidden hours when your competition is sleeping. You want to know where your hidden hours are? I'll tell you exactly where they are. Evening hours, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. What are you doing? Watching TV, scrolling, decompressing? That's 4 hours right there. Weekend mornings, 5 a.m. to 9 a.m., Saturday and Sunday. That's 8 more hours. Your lunch break, are you actually taking a full hour to eat? Or could you work while you eat and use 30 minutes for development? Decompression time. Let's be honest about what that really is. That's waste. That's you choosing easy over excellent. You have the time. You're choosing to spend it sleeping. You're choosing to spend it comfortable. And then you wonder why you're not where you want to be. Later, I'm going to tell you exactly why the off-season work destroyed my opponents. But right now, you need to understand that these hidden hours exist everywhere in your schedule. You just have to be willing to take them. Beijing, 2008. Let me tell you exactly what happened. Morning of the first official Team USA practice. I arrived at the gym at 5:30 a.m. Building was empty. Lights were off. Security guard looked at me like I was crazy. Practice isn't until 11, he said. I know, I'm here to work. He unlocked the gym for me. Just me in an empty arena. Nobody watching, nobody checking, nobody grading my effort. I wasn't there for them. I wasn't there to impress the coaches or show up my teammates. I was there for me. Because that's what 4 a.m. teaches you. The work you do when nobody's watching is the work that matters most. I shot 400 jumpers before 7 a.m., worked on footwork, worked on conditioning. By the time my teammates started showing up around 10:30, I was already warm, already loose, already better than I was when I woke up. They walked in fresh, ready to start their day. I was already 3 hours into mine. You think that doesn't create separation? You think LeBron didn't notice? You think Carmelo didn't see that? That's setting the standard. Not with words, with action. With showing up when you don't have to, and working when nobody's making you. Every hour you sleep past 4 a.m., someone else is taking your spot. Every morning you choose comfort, someone else is choosing championship. While you sleep, they work. And that gap, that becomes permanent. You're competing against people you've never even met. People who want what you want. People who are willing to do what you won't. And the only question that matters is, who wants it more? Who's willing to prove it at 4 a.m. when nobody's watching? Everyone else celebrated championships. I trained harder. June 2009, we just won the championship. Parade down Figueroa, confetti, celebration. Everyone's exhausted, relieved, ready to decompress. I gave myself 3 days. 3 days to celebrate. Then I was back in the gym. July, August. Everyone else on vacation, beaches, Europe, family time, taking a break, decompressing from the season. While they were on beaches, I was in the gym. While they were sleeping in, recovering, enjoying the off-season, I was working on the weaknesses I saw in the finals. Every single day. Championships aren't won in June. They're won in summer when nobody's watching. They're won in July when the cameras are off. They're won in August when your teammates think you're resting. That's the deleted scenes. That's the work that never makes the highlight reel. That's where you lost. You see the championship. You see June. You see the trophy. You see the confetti. You don't see July. You don't see August. You don't see the empty gym at 5 a.m. in the middle of summer when everyone else is on vacation. But that's where it was won. This is where separation really happens. Not in the games. Everyone works hard in games. Everyone's locked in when the lights are on, when the crowd's watching, when the cameras are rolling. That's easy. That's when adrenaline takes over. The real work, the work that matters, that happens in the deleted scenes. You want credit for every rep. You want someone to see you working. You want to post about it. You want recognition. You want applause. Champions do the work nobody sees and don't need the applause. They do it because the work itself is the reward. They do it because being better tomorrow than they were today is enough. The deleted scenes create the highlight reel. The work you do when nobody's watching creates the moments everyone remembers. That 81-point game started with thousands of shots nobody saw. Those championships built on off-season work nobody tracked. The results are public. The work is private. And here's what kills me about most people. They're not even giving full effort when people are watching. You can't do what I'm about to describe. Prove me wrong. Prove to me you can give 100% for 30 days straight. You can't, because you're not built that way yet. You're putting in 70% and wondering why you're getting 70% results. The math isn't complicated. You give 70%, you get 70%. You want to know why you're stuck? That's why. You're giving partial effort and expecting complete results. But here's the real problem. Even if you gave 100%, you'd only match the people giving 100%. You'd be even, not ahead. You want separation? You need to give 100% when they're giving 70%. That's a 43% advantage. Do that consistently, 143% advantage over time through compound effect. That's not talent, that's mathematics. But you're not even competing with them. You're competing with yourself. The you from yesterday, the you from last month, the you from last year. Are you better? Or are you the same person making the same excuses about why 70% is enough? This isn't about becoming an early bird. This isn't about morning routines or productivity hacks or time management. This is about domination through superior work ethic. This is about making yourself unbeatable by outworking everyone when they're not looking. You want to be a competitive weapon? Stop thinking about sleep schedules. Start thinking about separation. Every hour they waste is an hour you gain. Every morning they sleep is a morning you work. While they sleep, you work. While they rest, you train. While they celebrate, you prepare. That's the weapon. Most people never hear it. Most people never understand it because they're too busy making excuses to hear the truth. But if you're still listening, if you're still here, I'll tell you what separates the great from the greatest. Off-season work destroyed my opponents because they never saw it coming. By the time training camp started in September, I was already 3 months ahead. They showed up thinking we were all starting from the same place. We weren't. I'd been working since June. They'd been resting since June. 3 months of separation before we even stepped on the court together. That's the deleted scenes. That's the hidden hours. That's the work that creates the shock. They look at you one day and wonder what changed. Nothing changed. You were just working while they were sleeping. And they never saw it coming. You'll look back 5 years from now and realize you slept through your chance. You'll see someone else living the life you wanted, achieving the goals you set, becoming the person you could have been. And you'll remember this moment. You'll remember when someone told you exactly what to do, and you chose sleep anyway. You think this is about waking up early? It's not. This isn't about being a morning person. This isn't about getting more done before breakfast. This is about competitive advantage, pure and simple. This is about separation, creating a gap so wide between you and everyone else that they can't catch you even if they try. This is about being unreachable. Not unreachable because you're talented. Not unreachable because you got lucky. Unreachable because you outworked them for so long that the gap became permanent. You're comparing your work hours to theirs. I'm not. I'm working when they're not working. That's the difference. You're measuring yourself against their standard. I'm creating my own standard. You're trying to keep up. I'm trying to get so far ahead, they forget I'm even in the race with them. When they work, I work. When they rest, I work. When they sleep, I work. That's not the same game. That's not the same competition. That's domination. You're waiting to feel motivated at 4 a.m. I never felt motivated, I just got up. Motivation, that's a luxury. That's something people who aren't serious talk about. I need to feel motivated. I need to be inspired. I need the conditions to be right. The conditions are never right at 4 a.m. It's dark, it's cold, your bed is comfortable. That's the point. Discipline is a requirement. Motivation is optional. You don't wait to feel like doing it. You do it because that's what champions do. You do it because the version of you that achieves your goals does it. The version of you that wins does it. The version of you that stays comfortable doesn't. I can't relate to people who need motivation. I need results. I don't need someone to pump me up. I don't need music. I don't need a speech. I need to be better today than I was yesterday. That's enough. That's the only motivation that matters. January 22nd, 2006. Game against Toronto. Regular season game. Nothing special on the schedule. You know what time I woke up that morning? 4 a.m. Same as every other day. Same routine. Nothing different. Nothing magical about that particular day. Morning workout. 2 hours in the gym. Film study. Watch their defense. Watch their rotations. Breakfast. Handled some business. Normal day. Game started 7:30 p.m. By halftime, I had 26 points. Game ended, I had 81. Started at 4 a.m. that day too. Same as the days I scored 15. Same as the days I scored 40. The routine doesn't change based on results. The results change based on the routine. People ask me about that game all the time. What was different? What did you do special? Nothing. That's the answer they don't want to hear. I did the same thing I did every day. I can't relate to lazy people. Never could. I can't relate to people who only work hard when something special is happening. Champions work the same way whether it's June or January, whether it's the finals or a Tuesday in Toronto. Let me show you the mathematics of accumulation, how this compounds over time. Day 1, you wake up at 4 a.m. You work 3 hours while they sleep. You have a 3-hour advantage. That's it, 3 hours, barely noticeable. Week 1, 21 hours of advantage. You're starting to feel different. Your body's adapting, your mind's adjusting, but they don't see it yet. Month 1, 90 hours of advantage. That's almost 4 full days of work they didn't do. You're starting to see results. Small things. You're sharper, you're faster, you're more focused. They're starting to ask questions. What are you doing differently? Year 1, 1,095 hours. That's 45 days. That's a month and a half of work they never put in. The results aren't subtle anymore. You're in a different place, different level, different category. They can't figure out how you got there. You know exactly how. 4 a.m. every single day. Year 5, 5,475 hours. That's 228 days. That's 7.5 months of separation. You're not in the same universe anymore. They're playing checkers. You're playing chess 3 moves ahead. They're reacting to today. You planned for today 6 months ago. That's not talent. That's mathematics. That's compound interest on effort. That's what happens when you work while they sleep for 5 years straight. The gap becomes permanent. 5 years from now, you'll wish you started today. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not next month when things settle down. Today, right now. Because 5 years passes whether you use it or waste it. The only question is, who will you be in 5 years? The person who worked with a person who slept. Let me bring this all together. The mathematics, 21,900 hours over 20 years. That's the foundation. That's the numbers that don't lie. The standard, even at the top, even with 5 championships, I still showed up first and left last. No ceiling on work ethic, no level where you get to coast. The hidden work, championships won in deleted scenes. July and August when nobody's watching. 4 a.m. when nobody's checking. The work that creates the results everyone talks about but nobody sees happening. The mental shift. This isn't a routine. This isn't a habit. This is a weapon. This is how you make yourself unreachable. All of this together, unstoppable. Not because you're gifted, not because you got lucky, not because the conditions were right, because you outworked everyone consistently for so long that the gap became permanent. While they sleep, you work. That's the formula. That's the entire game right there. While they're comfortable, you're grinding. While they're resting, you're training. While they're celebrating, you're preparing for what comes next. That's not inspiration, that's domination. The shock doesn't come from talent. It doesn't come from one big moment. It doesn't come from a lucky break or the right opportunity. The shock comes from 1,000 mornings they never saw. The shock comes from 3 years of 4 a.m. wake-ups while they slept. The shock comes from the accumulation of invisible work becoming undeniable results. The shock is them waking up one day and you're untouchable. You're so far ahead they can't even see you anymore. They're looking around wondering, what happened? Where did you come from? How did you get that good? And here's what you tell them. I was always here. You were sleeping. They never saw you at 4 a.m. They never saw the empty gym. They never saw the deleted scenes. They never saw July and August when they were on vacation and you were working. They only see now. They only see the results. They only see you winning, and they call it overnight success. There's nothing overnight about it. This is years of mornings they slept through. This is the compound effect of work they never did. This is what happens when you treat 4 a.m. like a competitive advantage instead of an inconvenience. The secret isn't the 4 a.m. wake up. The secret is this. It's invisible until it's undeniable. You accumulate advantage in darkness. You build separation in silence. You create the gap when nobody's watching. And then one day, to them it seems like one day, the results appear. They think it's sudden. They think you changed overnight. They think something magical happened. You knew it was coming the whole time. You knew it at 4 a.m. on day 247 when you dragged yourself out of bed and they slept. You knew it at 4 a.m. on day 583 when you were sore and tired and you worked anyway. You knew because you were there for every single hour of separation you created. That's the shock. They never saw you working. They only see you winning. They never saw the hidden hours. They only see the highlight reel. The deleted scenes created everything they're watching, and they'll never know because they were asleep. Tomorrow morning at 4 a.m., you'll know who you really are. Not who you say you are, not who you want to be, who you actually are, when nobody's watching and nothing's forcing you to do the work. Here's exactly what you're going to do. Tonight at 10 p.m., set your alarm for 3:50 a.m., not 4 o'clock, 3:50. Place your phone across the room, not on your nightstand, across the room, so you have to get up to turn it off. Tomorrow morning at 3:50 a.m., alarm rings. No snooze. Feet hit the floor within 10 seconds. 3:50 to 4 a.m., get moving. Bathroom, cold water on your face, workout clothes on, no sitting, no checking your phone, no easing into it, moving. 4 to 6 a.m., your hidden work, whatever that is for you. Workout, study, side project, skill development. 2 hours of work while the world sleeps. 2 hours they'll never get back. 6 a.m., the world's waking up. Checking Instagram, hitting snooze one more time, making excuses about why they need more sleep. And you already won the day. You're already 2 hours better than you were when you went to bed. Do this tomorrow, then do it again on Wednesday, then do it again on Thursday, then do it for a week, then a month, then a year. That's how you create shock. Not with one day, with 1,000 days they never saw coming. While they sleep, you work. While they rest, you train. While they dream about success, you build it. That's the difference between champions and everyone else. That's the line. Tomorrow at 4 a.m., you'll know which side you're on. Tomorrow morning, 4 a.m. No negotiation. No let me think about it. No I'll try. You're either doing this or you're not. And that choice, that single choice tomorrow morning when your alarm goes off, determines everything. 2 paths in front of you. Path A, sleep. Hit snooze, stay comfortable, stay the same. 5 years from now, you're exactly where you are right now. Same frustrations, same limitations, same regrets. You'll look back and realize you had the chance and chose sleep. Path B, wake, work, grow, become the person you know you're capable of being. 5 years from now, you're untouchable, you're unreachable. You're the person who did what others wouldn't. You're the champion. There's no middle ground. You're either doing this or you're not. You're either waking up at 4 a.m. tomorrow or you're choosing comfort. And don't lie to yourself about it. Don't tell yourself you'll start next week. Don't tell yourself Monday. Tomorrow, 4 a.m. That's the test. Tomorrow at 4 a.m., you'll know who you really are. Not who you say you are on social media. Not who you tell your friends you are. Not who you wish you were. Who you are. When that alarm goes off and it's dark and cold and your bed is warm and every part of you wants to stay there, that moment reveals everything. Champion or talker. Worker or dreamer. Disciplined or distracted. Tomorrow reveals it. Not your words, not your intentions, not your plans. Your actions. At 4 a.m. when nobody's watching. You want to be great? You want to shock them? You want to separate yourself from everyone else? You want them to look at you one day and wonder how you did it? You want to win? You want to be unstoppable? You want to be unreachable? Then wake up at 4 a.m. tomorrow, and the next day, and the next, and the next, and the next. Not for a week, not for a month, until it's who you are. Until 4 a.m. isn't a challenge anymore, until it's just what champions do. If you're doing this tomorrow, type 4 a.m. club in the comments right now. That's your commitment, that's your contract, not with me, with yourself. Tomorrow morning, when that alarm goes off at 4 a.m. and you're lying there deciding whether to get up, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember you made a commitment, and you'll know whether you're the type of person who keeps commitments or breaks them. This is it. This is the difference between you and the person living the life you want. This is the gap between where you are and where you want to be. It's not complicated. It's not mysterious. It's 4 a.m. every single day. While they sleep, you work. While they rest, you train. While they choose comfort, you choose championship. While they sleep, you work. That's the difference. That's always been the difference. That's the only difference that matters. Job's not finished.